just a reminder, we're on season 6, episode 9, Drag Queens of Talk, and we're starting at 0000, and we're watching previously. We're watching the previously on bit as well. So if everybody's ready, I think Meg's gonna start the timer on.
Yeah, I've got it ready.
Cool, thank you, Megan. So if everyone's ready, we'll all press go together in 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Maria. That was a lot of talking that I wouldn't have been able to do.
Yep, thank you so much, Maria.
I love that we have 2 Brits as our host tonight.
And you've got one with a cold and one with a croaky voice.
And the
It's the
fact that
British
you guys
takeover.
are up very late to do this, so thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for coming.
Wow, so that must have been from the Untucked, that little moment where she's like, "You break me down."
Yeah,
I
I
was.
saw that.
Mm-hmm. That was nice. Jocelyn was like,
Alleviate the
lighten it up a little
tension.
yeah.
In Untucked, they criticize Laganja again for having, like, always being in a character and not being herself, and that was what the whole like drama was.
Bobby Pin.
I know I've said before that Bianca looks like she could be on Housewives of New Jersey, but I think that Jocelyn also looks like she could be on Housewives of New Jersey.
It's Paula Abdul.
The battle between the 2 Teresas.
Oh, there was no she-male.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they changed it mid-season.
Yeah, it seems that this was. I feel like it was their last episode.
Yeah, it was last episode.
It definitely was. I thought they made the change once season 7 started,
Same.
but I'm corrected.
I usually love Rue's suits, but I'm not feeling that one.
It's the brown. I don't like the brown color.
I do like the shirt that he has on, but I'm not a fan of the brown.
Who the heck is serving hot fish in a casserole? That's
I
gross.
was thinking that too. Like I know that tuna casserole is a thing, but that just does not sound good.
Ew. Yeah.
What counts as a casserole?
Like it's a baked dish. Like a, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like an all-in-one type dish. So it has like sometimes noodles and cheese or like some sort of gravy or sauce and a meat, and it's like all cooked together.
Campbell's soup of some sort.
Yeah.
Would you class like
Yeah.
a fish pie as a casserole? Because that's the way to serve hot fish. Or do you
Yeah,
not have
that's
fish pie
probably-
there?
We don't have fish pie, but I do know a little bit about what it is. And yeah, that's kind of like casserole.
Wow, door like it jumped in there.
Oh my gosh, that was good. I should have gotten that. I should have.
I
gotten
love that.
Nice.
Love it. See, this is a good mini challenge because they're spending time. I can see
Yeah.
who's getting what.
Does Babsy watch this with you, John?
No, she doesn't.
I wonder if she would have gotten the Hasselhoff.
Oh, probably she would have. Yeah. I should have gotten it.
I got it straight away because of that scene in Dodgeball. If anyone's seen.
Dodgeball. That's a great. I love Georgia Holt. Her voice, she and Cher sound so much alike. Like Cher really sounds like her mother when she, Trinity's like, I'm good.
That's so funny. Wow.
I am worried about Trinity and this one. Like when it's things she has to speak on or whatever, she gets really nervous.
Yeah.
She did really well last week, though.
That's true.
This is a challenge that Bianca just excels at.
Yeah, she's good at thinking on her feet too. I feel like she'd be okay with this. Dang, no.
Whoa.
I think she still thinks it's last week's challenge.
I couldn't hear you, Maria. Can you say that?
Oh, sorry. I think Jocelyn still thinks it's last week's challenge being a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird how like she doesn't seem to be getting the serious vibe from Rue. She's just like, haha, I'll do
Yeah.
whatever I want.
Yeah. I feel like if I knew Jocelyn in real life, I think that her personality would really irritate me.
She's just so dense. Like,
Yeah,
it
she's
just would really
very
annoy.
childlike.
Now that I see Taylor in Out of Drag, I'm just thinking, like, what did Hunter's ex used to look like?
Like that, but with lighter brown hair. Taller.
Oh god.
I don't think it's just the brown suit that I'm not liking. I think it's the fact that it's shiny too. It looks like cowhide or something. I don't know.
I think it's like velvety, you know.
Or like, yeah, like
Oh,
a
yeah,
nice
that
Like a
could be.
corduroy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
It's quite muted for Rue. Usually it's got patterns.
I love
That
good
that
pattern.
that advice that Rue gave Courtney, I thought that was difficult to interpret. I had a hard time.
It
I had
seems,
a hard time
it seems
understanding
vague.
what. Yeah, it seemed extremely vague, and if I was Courtney, I'd be like,
more liqueur.
yeah, yeah. It's like as an actor, there's like certain when directors give you certain notes, and they're just extremely vague, like that. Things like more energy, you know, where you're just like, I don't know what to do with that.
We're at 14 minutes for anyone who needs a timestamp.
I can see, yeah, I can see Adore loving that.
Yeah, I was about to say, why is he so excited? He already knows her. Aw, that's cute.
That really big show. That was an Oprah nod, was it not? Am I wrong?
The what?
When Rue said it's going to be a really big show, I think that's an Oprah nod.
Yeah, I think you're right. I didn't even think about it.
I'm not sure. Do you think Rue purposely wanted to kind of confuse Courtney with his advice?
I think that Rue just didn't articulate what I think that the other contestants articulated to Courtney a lot better, which is you just need to be a little more approachable. You need to be a little bit more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because she's just, yeah, we just don't really get anything from her except that she's just really talented. That's it.
I love Adora's dress.
She sounds so much like Cher. Or Cher sounds like her.
It's shocking. It's super shocking.
Don't say the depression is cool or amazing. That was a bad segue.
Is oh wow,
I'm surprised. She didn't
yeah,
do well.
she's failing. That's surprising.
That's not
Dad.
his name.
Maybe it wasn't. Was it in 2014? It was really old. I mean, it keeps adding every year. It's like, so what was it in 2014?
What is happening right now?
Nobody is doing very well.
Ouch.
That's what's happening.
Ow.
It just makes you want to die from secondhand embarrassment.
I'm hoping that we see Bianca lip syncing tonight. Courtney's gonna crush this.
Courtney's doing well.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by it actually.
Going. Oh goodness.
So is Courtney gonna be the only one that succeeded tonight?
Right? This
It
is
looks like it.
hard.
But I mean, this is just, I mean, this challenge was made for Courtney. I mean, Courtney is just good at that kind of thing.
I would have thought Bianca was too, though, and she.
I
kind
would
of
have thought Bianca would do way better. That was surprising.
that was cute.
Oh, this is also a challenge that Dela definitely has.
Yeah, she did good.
This is
She's
a
very
challenge.
rough.
This is a challenge for the yeah, this is going to be a bomb. I think the more intellectual contestants do better in this one.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Oh God.
Oh, shit.
What the hell?
Whoa.
What is happening?
What is? Oh my goodness.
That came out of nowhere. And she's giggling. Oh my, I'm covering my.
Good Lord. Oh my goodness, that was tough.
What bag does she have it in? The bag is in the river drowning with a puppy in it. Like, what bag does she think she has it in?
I feel like she just has no concept of how other people are responding to her or anything.
Looking forward to seeing what this runway is.
Yeah,
This
she's
looks
definitely
hilarious.
not self-aware.
Yeah, none at all.
Yeah, and then she just does that giggle to like shake it off.
She has a song, I Bought the Love You Gave Me, and it's
I don't think I've ever actually listened to it for some reason. I'm gonna have to listen later.
she sounds just like Cher.
Michelle's got like a Cleopatra vibe going on. I mean, this is kind of amazing.
I love this.
I love
This
that
is
look.
this is really great. And that scarf, the scarf that hangs out in the front, that's clearly the trunk.
Yeah, genius. Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that's a good. I like that reference. So I guess this is like an animal challenge.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
I love it.
Okay, that is really weird. Oh, this is, yeah, not into this one. It's like that's like somebody that you would see at Disneyland.
I like that one.
The Fly you liked, or this one Bianca's in?
I like the fly.
Loved the fly. Loved it.
Not into the Fly.
I
like
loved
Bianca's
it,
a
but
lot.
only because it was amusing.
Yeah, it was different.
It was good.
No, I'm not into Jocelyn's
Me
either.
neither.
Yeah,
I love
clearly
Trinity,
was
so-
not clear. Whoa!
Trinity.
Love
Yes.
that. That
Oh my
is really
God.
cool.
That is amazing.
This might be my favorite
That's like,
of the series.
oh my gosh, that's like,
Yeah,
that's like
that
kind of
is
wow.
definitely.
They're gonna extend.
Stunning.
Yeah, so yeah.
They look
Yeah.
like they extend. Yep, told you. It looks a little weird from behind though when it's open,
Yeah.
like
That's
like a big
stunning.
styrofoam thing on her back.
Yeah, I wasn't really loving it.
Trinity just crushed that.
Oh, for sure. She
Yeah, that
definitely
is
was hands
beautiful.
down.
Yeah.
Darian's not going home. Hmm. It just looks like a Disney, like
The thing
a
I,
Disney character.
yeah, the thing I don't like about it is it's too literal.
It
It's
is,
not,
but it
like,
doesn't. I mean,
yeah,
it really
yeah.
truly does look like a theme park character, like
It
somebody
does.
who you would see walking down the main street at Disneyland.
That's I can understand that. That's true. But
Not an animal.
Diane Sawyer of the Jungle.
What?
What does that mean?
Nothing that she just said made sense.
Not a lick. Oy. Oy.
I'm not sure Jocelyn's ever seen a talk show.
Yeah,
Right?
I would say that you're right about that. Yikes.
I like this challenge that they all learned that being a host of a talk show is really, really hard, and you need a team of producers, like
Yeah.
for sure. You can't just like do it all yourself.
Yikes. She's not going home.
No.
Anyone middle of the road is not going home. She's middle of the road. Adora's not going home.
I'm gonna go with Jocelyn being bottom. Maybe Trinity.
I don't
And
know. I
then-
think that Trinity's.
Who's the other one?
I think Trinity's runway might have saved her.
Yeah, that's true. That look was incredible.
Her look is incredible, but I think she needs to stop talking back to the judges and giving them excuses. Like, just take their critiques and not say anything back.
Wow, they like her costume. All right, I stand corrected.
It was a good costume.
I didn't say it was
It's
a bad
too
costume. I just didn't think that it was
literal.
it was fashion. I thought it was Disney character.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying about it though. I do.
Yeah, I would just love for Bianca to be in the bottom.
Do you not
Sorry.
like Bianca?
Mm.
Well, I'm not the Bianca fan that everyone else is. It's not that I dislike her, but I think it would be. I think she's a strong contestant, and I hope we don't get through this series without getting to see her in that vulnerable position. And I want to see her lip sync. You know,
I
for
think,
really lack of any other reason.
I think John feels the same way about Bianca that I feel about Courtney.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like they need taken down a notch.
It reminds me of that Victoria's Secret, like when they do the angels, with the wings and everything. That's what it reminded
That's
me of.
exactly what I thought it
Me
was.
too.
Yeah.
Here's how this is where you see how new guests have not gotten tired of Courtney, whereas the judges have gotten tired of Courtney.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Courtney is a great first impression, but she wears on you after a while. And I think the judges feel that about her, whereas these two new guests are still in that good impression phase.
Yeah,
also-
I felt like they were like practically rolling their eyes at the new guests saying how much they like Courtney.
Yeah, little Santino
Totally.
was like, he was like, do the other contestants just shit themselves when she puts on her costume? Because that was just amazing. So he's
Yeah, well, I think he more is talking about just her costumes for the runway are pretty impressive.
gotcha.
Were you saying something, Diana?
Oh, I was just gonna say also though, this challenge pretty much everyone kind of sucked at it. So I feel like Courtney stood out even more because no one was really excellent at it. So that's my
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair point.
It's just a little bit of it's just the cockiness of Courtney that bugs me, just like second win and also she's mean. I mean, that's
Yeah.
my biggest problem with
Yeah.
Courtney. She's just straight up mean.
100%. Absolutely.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh no. I'll be very sad if she goes home.
She's safe. She's safe. She's safe. We can't watch Trinity do another great lip sync.
Right? Oh my god.
Whoa!
Oh my.
Oh my goodness!
What?
No.
Oh
No,
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 I
no,
don't
this is
want
crazy.
either of them
understand.
to go home.
Oh wow! One of these two are going home.
This makes me very sad right
This is
now.
the first time I'm like upset. Wait, no. Second, I guess. That one where no one was eliminated, but
Oh my gosh!
I'm very sad right now. I need an emotional support animal.
This is awesome. Sorry, this is good television.
I love how you are so happy at our misery right now, John.
It's good television. It's good television.
I don't know who to root for here. I love both of them.
I know.
I'm not rooting for either. I'm just gonna take it in.
Fun fact, I twisted my ankle to this song one day. I was like dancing around the living room and hopped off the back of the couch, and my mom walked in and distracted me, and I twisted my.
Oh,
I was just gonna say I'm rooting for Paula Abdul in this challenge.
Yes.
Totally forgot about Bibology. I cannot believe that I forgot about this.
Right? It's a great song.
The whole album was amazing.
Unbelievable. Worth the pain for.
Oh wow, Adore is doing well. They're also spending more time on Adore, the camera.
Yeah, they are.
That's important to consider. They don't want us to see how good Trinity's doing.
Oh, they're playing to each other. I love
Oh my
it.
gosh, this is so awesome.
Oh my gosh, I love them together.
I wish the week that they decided to save both of the contestants, I wish that was this week.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know who wins. I really don't know who wins. I'm thinking Trinity goes home just because I think that they need Adore to stay, but I don't think that either of them really
But also,
deserve
if
it.
you
They're both
think about
awesome.
it, Trinity's been in the bottom before, so
Oh,
Oh my god.
I knew that. I knew that that was happening. I knew that that was happening, but
I will say though that you could tell that Adore wasn't happy about like necessarily being the one to stay. Like I don't feel like she's happy about this situation at all that she's in right now.
She's so gracious and humble. I love her.
so gracious, so humble, and really, really, really articulate when usually she's super nervous, and like that came out with such strength and confidence.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad she left on like a positive note.
Yeah. It was a graceful exit.
Yeah, I think Trinity might be my favorite for this season so far.
I think she's your favorite because she has like a real character arc. Like that, you know, she
Yeah.
starts in one place and ends up in another
Yeah.
entirely. That's
Yeah.
kind of your
What
thing.
in the world?
Why is Jocelyn always
Jocelyn's
naked?
outfit? Oh my goodness. Jocelyn, settle down.
Jocelyn just loves her own body.
Oh man, I'm sad. I'm sad.
Yeah, I'm sad, but it's like yeah. if
It's a very
if
tough
I have to be
episode.
totally honest, I actually would have preferred Adore to go home.
No, not my door.
I kind of
I-
agreed.
I mean, and it's not. I think Adore is great. I mean, we were put in a really tough spot. They're both great. They're both great contestants. They're both really great. There are plenty of other. There are plenty of other queens. Not plenty, but there are at least two other queens that we could. Well, I don't know, maybe not two, but well, one, at least one. I think that we both.
What?
Can I be? I mean. Can I be presumptuous as to say that that most of us here kind of feel that Jocelyn should have gone home tonight?
Yeah.
Yes, Jocelyn should.
Yeah,
have
for
gone
sure.
home.
Right, but we didn't get that. We got this, which was painful, but it made for a pretty exciting finale, even though it was emotional.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose between the two of them, personally, I would have preferred to keep Trinity in the competition. And it's I don't know. I mean, Adore gives those great interviews. They're both tough. They're both just so great for the show.
I think it's like Jocelyn just also like her runway looks were nothing to ever remember. Like, you know, the dental floss thing going on. And then this one wasn't that great either. Like, she doesn't show well. That sounds like I'm talking like about a horse, but
Yeah, like nobody
Yeah.
cares about your tiny butt, Jocelyn.
Yeah, that like just the constant showing skin. We seen Jocelyn in like something other than just like a lingerie look.
right, no ball gowns or anything.
I don't think we've seen anything outside of
know.
lingerie look for her at all. I mean, at the very least, I feel like that they should be that explicit when they critique her and just say, like, you're going home if you give us another Victoria's Secret look.
Yeah.
The next time you need to come with something that looks like you are going to a gala.
Did you want to say something, Maria?
Yeah, I just don't understand the thought process of why she wasn't in the bottom two, because like her performance in the interview was like equally as bad as Trinity's, but Trinity's look was just 100 times better than her. And like you've all said about, it's just the same look every week. I really don't understand why she wasn't in. I'm still really annoyed about it.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is producers feel like they need her for some reason. And like, it wasn't just that her interview was bad, but she offended the guest. Like, she didn't just like give a bad interview, but she actually offended the guest. That's like rule 101. Don't piss off your guest.
Yeah,
Especially
she
if
should
they're
have been
mother.
penalized for it.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to join the post-show discussion, by the way, just raise your.
The only
Yeah.
thing I could think- oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to agree with that. I mean, I think that I don't know, it's tough because does the runway play into that final decision? You know, where who's gonna be in that bottom? Because if it does, then absolutely Trinity was robbed here, because her look was the best, like by far.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they also knew it. And Jocelyn's was the lowest by far. And so then if you're like highest by far, lowest by far, now let's take a look at how they did. Both of them did poorly on their interview. And even if you were to say, well, Jocelyn did pretty well until she offended, whereas Trinity did really poorly all the way through, that's still when you combine it with how poorly Jocelyn did on the runway and how great Trinity did on the runway, that would mathematically put Trinity above. Logically, it would. And so the only thing that I can think is that it really was like a producer's thing, that they they manufactured that, or they like kind of, they showed us what we needed. I mean, even just like having Jocelyn, you know, apologize there and then kind of make a moment out of like the acceptance of the apology, you know, it all felt like the producers really needed for the audience to be on their side with who they chose to put into the bottom.
The only thing I can think of maybe that the producers are pushing is this, you know, this whole sort of Jocelyn and Courtney, sort of, they're quite similar.
Yeah.
Jocelyn looks up to Courtney, because I was really rooting for Jocelyn, because I don't know, Courtney just rubs me up the wrong way a little bit, and I kind of wanted Jocelyn to beat her at something, I guess. But I think this episode was a bit of a turning point, and I don't really care if she proves that she's better or equal to Courtney anymore.
Yeah, I was confused when John started to kind of mention it about what was, I guess, maybe like the proportion or rating between the interview and then the runway, because and then even like how the lip sync challenge plays into it, because I just saw Trinity as doing better, I guess, collectively.
Yeah, I mean, and really, like, if otherwise that runway really doesn't have any purpose, except all it is just a chance for us to see it. Because if that runway is supposed to actually mean something, then it should actually be something that could save somebody who actually did really poorly on the last challenge. Like that would be the thing. It's like, okay, you did really bad, but you have one more chance to save yourself. And I mean, and I like, how could, if that was its purpose, how could Trinity's look not save her? Unless it wouldn't have mattered, in which case then I like asked myself like, oh, okay, is that runway thing just something that we're supposed to just like, you know, it's just a chance for the contestants to come through and get, and like, it doesn't have any bearing. It's just designed to present us our drag queens before they get critiqued on the previous challenge.
I would think that they have some sort of bearing though, because they're critiqued on their runway looks. Like,
Yeah.
why would the judges need to critique them if they don't even matter in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, they are critiqued, so why, like John said, like, does this have much, like, why critique them if it doesn't matter? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I think we're all trying to rationalize what happens after the runway with, you know, the looks that we see from them, and it's just not really adding up.
I'm starting to get upset now.
Yeah.
I would almost rather see them do like the runway more like at the beginning of the show, and have that offer, maybe like whoever their favorite is from that, like have that offer some sort of privilege or something for like the later challenge, just to, I guess, because I really want to know what the breakdown is between the two.
I think that the runway can have some bearing, but sometimes like they're so disappointed in the performance and the challenge or whatever that it so overshadows it. Like the runway is not as important as the challenge, but I think also maybe Trinity's like defensive comment after she was critiqued on her challenge performance might have had something to do with why she was in the bottom again. But I was wondering, in the previous Untalked, Jocelyn said that her nephew had died just before she came into the show, and that she felt guilty for coming onto the show because of it. And I was wondering if maybe they gave her some like sympathy leeway because of that, like if the judges
Ooh.
knew.
You know, you actually are bringing up a point here that I hadn't thought about, which is how much does Untucked play into the broader experience of the season, because if we're getting attached or supposed to be getting attached to characters in Untucked, then that might actually play a part in making sense out of why producers would choose one queen to, you know, give a little bit of a push to. It also would probably change our own perception of that particular queen and our desire for them to stay, or you know, whether we would be upset if they or not upset, like, yeah, if we would be upset if they were let go, or whether we would be accepting of them staying. Like here, you know, we seem to be kind of like, how in the world did they keep Jocelyn? But if we did see an Untucked episode, you know, as part of our experience for the season that had us get attached to Jocelyn in some way, we might not be questioning it as much.
Yeah, I was thinking when she said that too, like, because last episode, Laganja left, and Elle mentioned, like, in the Untucked episode that she had said, you know, I'm done, send me home and all that stuff. So I guess we are missing a bunch of stuff from those episodes that would weigh in on the final outcome that we just don't get to see.
It definitely,
But
like,
again, it
adds
comes
a
back to, like, how
dimension.
much does this runway count? So go ahead, Megan.
I was just saying it definitely gives them, like, more dimension, especially because they don't really, like, have chance to talk to each other much, you know, during the challenges and stuff like that. So when they get to the Untucked Lounge and it's all like a heightened state of emotion and everything, they're all like just unleashing everything at each.
So at the beginning of the episode, when they were talking about Laganja leaving, Trinity said to Bianca, you know, like, this is because you said this or whatever. And Bianca was like, oh, that's right, blame me. Did something happen between Bianca and
I think it
Laganja?
was Bianca who said to Laganja, like, you know, the judges are tired of you not acting like yourself and you're acting like a character or whatever. I think Bianca was the one who brought that up again, and then Laganja's like, you're always attacking me.
Okay.
Yeah, she said, I feel personally attacked,
Right.
which was the inspiration for Elle's Memento.
Yes.
I feel attacked.
I feel
Or
personally attacked.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole, it's really interesting. It's too bad we don't have Elle with us tonight to go into it. But, you know, this whole, like, thing of character versus, you know, being sort of being a more natural, honest, it's like in Paris is Burning, they referred to this concept of realness, and they were talking about realness from the perspective of, like, that queen really does a good job of convincing you that she's a woman. She's real from that, like, that looks like authentically a real woman could actually fool you if you didn't know. But realness also from the perspective of, and certainly also in the context of, like, this person passes as a woman, also isn't just looks, it's also the behavior. And there are multiple queens in this season who deliberately kind of go against that. Like, I actually put I love Dela, but I would put Dela into the same category of, like, character, like putting on these, like, little characters every time. As Laganja, you know, was a bit more irritating, but I don't think that they're too far outside of, like, they sort of are in the same category for me. Like,
I agree.
they're like characters. They're putting on, like, costumes, whereas Trinity really becomes like Trinity has that realness, and it's not just in her look, it's also in how she speaks, you know. I mean, even down to her comedy routine being about her own life. She didn't put on an affected voice. She just spoke as herself with more confidence than she does when she's, you know, just sort of in the green room, but it feels real. And I also think that, like, to a degree, and it might be why I also am not like a huge Bianca fan, is I think to a degree Bianca has a little bit of that as well, except that Bianca's character also sort of, I think Bianca's character also exists when Bianca isn't in drag. I think that's also part of why, like, Bianca's still that kind of, oh, come on now.
Yeah, that's just her.
You know, and maybe that's part of it, is like, you know, at least when Dayla's out of drag, Dayla just doesn't seem like a character, it seems like a real person. And when Bianca's not in drag, I'm still kind of feeling like Bianca's playing a character.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I don't. It's not a character. That's just Bianca. Like, that's just her personality 24/7. Like, you know, and I feel like that's just a product of where she is from. You know, she's in New York, and then that's just, or is it New Jersey? I don't know, but that's just her. I've known so many people like that I think that's why it's not abrasive to me, because I've known so many people.
I agree. Like, I feel like Bianca's the most authentic person
Yes.
outside of drag. Like it just
That's
feels
fun.
so real to me, because I feel like I know her. Like, I feel like I've met her, and
But you're in New
like,
York.
that's
You're a New Yorker, Diana, and I don't.
I know.
But
Well,
I don't
that's what I mean.
get
Like,
that from you. Like, what? Like, I like.
no, I mean, not for me, but like, that's part of the culture here, is like people who kind of sound like her and walk like her and talk like her, and like, she's in the theater community, so like, I don't feel that anything she does outside of drag and the ITMs and stuff, like, I think she's just being funny, but I definitely have known funny people who like are authentic, like, and I just get this authenticity vibe from her. Like, I feel like if I met her on the street and said hello, like, I would get that from her, and, you know, she'd be like, I gotta go, like, I got a show, you know, like something like, I just feel so, I don't know. I was actually talking to a friend about her, and he followed her for a long time before the show, and he was like, oh yeah, like she was always my favorite to go see, you know, so like, that's like, I don't know, I just feel so connected to her because I feel like I know her.
I also think like her culture plays a bit into this, because I think during her comedy routine she said she has like some Honduran
And Cuban.
scent in her.
Yes.
Yes.
That Latinidad, that I think that also plays a role into her personality. That's all I wanted to say. I can't remember what her other Hispanic heritage
It was Cuban
is.
and Honduras, right? Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Did you say Cuban and Honduras?
Yeah.
Honduras?
I
Well, you know
think
that I'm Cuban, right?
John's like,
Yeah.
hold on.
I'm like, hold a second here. I
think
do
her
know
whole where
I
she
do know
comes
something about the Cuban culture.
She's New York Cuban. So
Well, my dad was in New York for many years before moving to Miami, but I just think about, like, who could I just like saddle up to the bar and have like a drink with, and like just a normal conversation, and I don't get that from Bianca.
But I would
I think it's that
pay
simple.
money to see that. For
I would
sure.
pay
I would
big money.
pay
I would
money to
pay
see it.
so much money. And she like, I mean, I'm Black. She reminds me of like half my aunts. So like, that's just something like, girl, if you don't go in there and get something to drink, I don't even want, like, what are you even doing right now?
Yeah.
Like, you walk in the house and they're just like, what are these shoes? What are you doing with yourself? Get your life together. Like that's just how they
Hmm.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
I was convinced that I was convinced that I would probably start to feel it enough but by this point in the season that I could make everybody happy, because I know that everybody loves Bianca, that I could make everybody happy with like I'm becoming a Bianca fan, but it just has not happened.
I was gonna say that Bianca and Dela and that feel more classic drag to me. Like you said that they seem to be like in a character too much, but I just feel like they're more classic drag queens, and like the act is just classic drag, whereas some of the newer ones, like they're more modern drag queens, like the younger ones. And I guess it is like a little more authentic because they'll put it on less of a show, but I don't think it's like a better way to do drag. It's just different.
Yeah, and
that's sort of
the
what-
critique was that she's very professional, Bianca.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, in a nutshell, what she is that, you know, she went, like, she comes out, she nails it almost every time, no matter what it is, because she's just so clean. Like, everything about it is like tight and clean in terms of a performance. And it seems like she's rehearsed it 1,000 times, but like, you know, but still comes off as very natural. And I think that's what I like about her performance too, is that she knows her craft so well. So she kind of feels so relaxed in the interviews that she can make jokes and be sassy and stuff, because she's just like not worried about it. Like there's a calm that comes from her, I think, that like just comes from being a seasoned professional at this, and she doesn't really seem flustered by anything.
It just never seems like it just seems like she's always on to me. And
Who
so
is
like,
that?
you know, Bianca, she
Yeah.
seems like she's always on.
Yeah, that's how she feels to me. That's the reason why if I was like sitting at a bar having a drink, I would sort of feel like I wasn't really having a conversation with somebody who's actually listening. I was having a conversation with somebody who was mostly like sort of on. And yeah, I mean, like that's such a silly, I realize such a silly example, because you know, obviously like people are different in real life than they are on television. I'm just saying, you know, and I'm sure that Bianca is a cool, awesome person in real life. Just within the context of this show, she feels like she's just on all the time. And therefore, I have a hard time connecting in that way that two people connect when they're just sort of sitting together having like a really just, you know, normal conversation. I just haven't seen it yet. And I've seen most, well, not everybody else, but I've seen most others feel like, oh, that is you. That's who I would get if I was sitting having a drink with you at the bar and just chatting about what's going on in our lives right now. Whereas I haven't seen that from Bianca. I'm sure it exists. I'm not suggesting that Bianca is somebody who, you know, if you sat at a bar with them, they would be on the whole time. I'm just saying I haven't seen the Bianca that if I was sitting at a bar, we would just really truly be talking about what's going on in our lives, and like, and just it would be completely natural. I've only seen this sort of on thing that she's doing, and next to everybody else, folks like Dela, even Courtney Act, I you know, I feel like I know them better, and I know what that conversation with them would be like.
I think the reason I like Bianca is actually a little bit opposite of why like Diana likes her, because I feel like I don't know her in that I'm in the South where we have a lot of nasty nice people, meaning that they
I thought the
seem like
South
they're
is
being nice.
I thought the South is full of Southern hospitality.
Well,
Bless your heart,
that
John.
too, but we have a lot of people who are like very nice to your face, but still insulting you at the same time. And I think the reason I like her is because you get what you like. She's going to give it to you straight, and you don't have, like, it is what it is. You don't have to think, like, is she insulting me right now? Because you'll know that she's insulting you.
You hit it
And
on
there
the
will
head.
be no
Yeah.
left heart.
Well, that's the New Yorker way. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
that's
and
that's
there's
like a New
something I
Yorker.
like about that. Like, if I'm gonna be insulted, like if you're gonna put me down, I want to know you're putting me. I don't want to have to do these math problems in my head to try to figure out your true meaning.
You hit it completely on the head. That's exactly what she's doing. And also what I've noticed is in some of those like sort of filler moments where, you know, she is just kind of giving it to them in the room, they're all laughing with her. Like they know that she's just like, you know, like making
On.
good jokes at their
On.
expense.
Yeah.
But she
She's
is on,
on.
but like I also think like she is sincere in that like they know she's joking, she knows she's joking, but she's making some really good digs, you know? So it's like they almost have to respect it. And so I think that there's like I always enjoy those little moments because I think there's a real kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It seems to come so easily to her, you know, and I think that's funny. I would like want to be around her because I'm like, oh, she's so funny. Like, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
do me next, like, you know, insult
Yeah.
me next, like, you know,
You
but not
hit
in
it
a stand-up
right
comedian
on
way.
the head.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna
but
say the
she
same
like
thing.
knows.
Like if we remember last week, not last week rather, but like the last episode, Jamie Presley was like the guest star, and she even said like, oh, I wanted her to like do me next, and like that's how I feel when I watch
Yeah.
Bianca. It's absolutely hilarious. Glamazon by Color Evolution, like that whole thing that she said about Darian, that won me over. That made me laugh.
Yep.
The
I
first
think,
time I watched it,
like-
I was like, yep, this is a queen for me.
Like last week when Rue went in the room with them and she got to Bianca, Rue said, you know, like you've been known to help the other queens here in the competition. What has, anyone else done to help you? And she's like, oh, well, they've all helped me by being so awful. Like I'm nice. I can help them pack their bags, And
I
everyone
loved
was laughing. Like that's just her personality. That's just what she does. She's an insult.
To be clear, I enjoy that stuff too. I found all that stuff funny, and I enjoy all of that stuff. But for me, I need more than just that to make you sort of the top. I also need that real person. I need to be able to see that real person. If I don't see that, then you're just a really good comedian.
I think part of it that might be missing is that it doesn't feel like she's in a competition because she's just kind of killing it every time. So I think like there is something there where it's like she's not that she's not trying hard, because she really is. Obviously she's putting in the work and it's coming out great. I think what we're missing in terms of a competition like this, where you're looking for the best drag queen, you're looking for a superstar, she kind of already is one. And so it doesn't really make a ton of sense for her to be there in a way. And like everyone else is definitely on some sort of journey, and we haven't seen a journey from her. She's
From
just
who?
kind of
From
at
who?
the top of her game.
Bianca.
From Bianca.
From Bianca.
She's at the top of her game, whereas the others are definitely still working on stuff.
I
right?
think that to a degree, I think that you could say the same thing for Courtney, except, obviously Courtney's got she's definitely got an ego that is off-putting, but I think that Courtney is also kind of at the top of her game. She's already a star in her country. She's really good at, she's like really skilled, like at all aspects of drag.
But there are still like several critiques that she comes under fire for, which is like you're relying on your prettiness. Like she's got a couple of things up her sleeve, and that's what we've seen. Whereas like I feel like Bianca, like you could throw anything at her and she could probably do it. I thought she did okay in the challenge, and she ran out of time. And I was actually thinking, like, I was hoping that she would also be kind of in the bottom just because she misjudged like a crucial piece of the challenge, right? Like, which is timing. Like that's all, like Talk shows
Yeah.
are all about timing.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
thought
I
that-
kind
I
of-
thought she was pretty. I thought she did pretty poorly in the
Yeah.
in the talk show challenge.
But I think
And
she could've-
Courtney, on the other hand, did amazing.
Yeah,
and
Courtney
I
did great.
felt like did amazing because Courtney's just good at that kind of thing. Because Courtney's at the top of her game in those aspects of the competition. And like you give anything to Bianca that is comedy related, and she'll do really well. She'll excel at it because that's what she does. You give anything to Courtney that is like, that is more about like the
Show.
look and the look and the show and all of that, and she'll excel, and anything where she has, I mean, like you can tell she's a host, like she does, like I can see her doing like, hosting gigs on television. She's just good at that kind of thing. And in that way, I think she's just she's sort of outside of her, she outclasses everybody else. She's in a different class from everyone else, in a lot of aspects of the show. And then I think they also need to let us know or give a sense that she's vulnerable by pointing out some of her more unsavory personality traits, because and also that she's just kind of a little boring in how good she is.
Yeah.
Have you-
I think it was Diana who said that it took you a while to realize that Courtney Act, her name was a play on words.
Yeah.
Of Courtney Act.
Yeah.
Well, I have you beat, because it was not until tonight's episode that I realized that when people are saying Dela, they are referring to Ben Delacreme. I'm like, who's this person that they keep talking about? And I don't know who this is. Like, who's this character? And then tonight it dawned on me who everybody was referring to. So I was like, oh, I feel stupid.
Well, it's not really my fault with Courtney Act, because if you say it in an Australian accent, it's obvious. But if
Yeah.
you say it in our American accent, it's not at all obvious.
So one of the things I was wondering about Bianca, because I think it's clear, like we know that she's always going to do really well in all the challenges. If part of the reason why she at least appears so on is for her to still get some of like that camera time. Like I feel like anytime you go onto a reality show, everyone knows that they're going to be like playing a character. And so I wonder if that's kind of what she went into it with.
I'm convinced that that's what it is.
Absolutely.
I'm sure she understands that, like, if I'm going to convince the producers to show lots of footage of me, I got to give them the best footage. If they show lots of footage of me, it's going to make it much harder for them to actually send me home, because ultimately they're the ones who decide whether I go home or not my performance.
And I
Yeah.
think too, like, we know that they don't allow them to interact outside of the cameras and when they're not on set. So it's easy. Well, I won't say easy, but they come in, they work, they can be whatever they want to be. And then at the end of the day, they can go home and just kind of unwind, like it's just, they can be on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, imagine if they were all like living in a house together, like Bachelor style. It would probably be different.
That's what I was thinking this was
Yeah.
going to be. I thought they were going to be living together. And we could
I
see,
thought
like,
the
more
same
back behind the
thing.
scenes.
I was
Yeah.
actually surprised to find out that they don't live in the same house, or stay in the same place. Like I was surprised when I found that.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like a drag real world situation.
Can you
They'd
tell
probably
me
kill each
what
other.
how does it work? Where do they go?
I think they stay in a hotel or something.
Yeah, Elle said they stay at a hotel and then they're like kind of sequestered. Like they don't get to interact with each other at the hotel. They have to, order the food and it's like everything's filtered. Like they don't have any contact.
Geez, that sounds like a mental challenge of its own.
Right? That's
It's
probably
to
why
keep all
Laganja
the
had a hard
dramas in
time.
there in the
Yeah.
episode.
That's probably why Laganja was having such a hard time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like a lot of pressure on them. Like super isolating, and they don't get to talk to their families or anything either.
Oh, they don't.
That's why some.
That's
No,
crazy.
in Untucked, some of them get like video messages from people that they know and their families and stuff.
I would
But I
not
don't think
want
they
to
talk to them out.
sign up for that. That would not be fun for me.
Why do they have it as two separate things? Like, I feel like if they incorporated some of this stuff from Untucked into these episodes, I would get so much more like
Yeah.
information on these
I
people.
I agree, because like typically we're getting, these little bits of backstory from those who have seen Untucked. But I'm like, yeah, all these situations need context, and we're not getting any except for from people who have seen it before.
I think
they
it's probably
probably,
the time slot.
Yeah, I think it's a time slot, and they capitalized on it. Like, why make it into one show when you can make it into two and make more?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I was gonna say. Like the everlasting question is asked yet again. Like, I was looking for what was it? I was looking for like videos related to the episode that we're gonna watch on Wednesday, Drag My Wedding, the one that was pulled here in the US. And I was watching this one podcast. It was like on YouTube, and it was produced by like AfterBuzz TV or something to that effect. And it sums up every episode of Drag Race. And this is still when it was airing on. It was still on the air. It was still on Logo. And one fan had called in and asked like, or no, they didn't ask, but they said like, this is yet another reason why like I want Untucked, or why Untucked would be beneficial to be put with the main show because of the context here and there, which the context of that particular episode we'll get into next week. Elle and I will, about Drag My Wedding. But yeah, the fans have been asking this for years. But again, capitalization issues like that, and
Well, what about the very
time slot
obvious?
issues.
Well, what about the very obvious reasons? Like, you only have an hour. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't. Where would they squeeze that in? I mean, right now unless we just got a different type of show. If we got a show that was a little bit more about the interaction between the character, or between the contestants, and only like one of the challenges or two of the challenges, even if we just stripped one of the challenges away, we said there's only two challenges in the episode, and then now the third challenge, which is, I guess the third challenge is just the runway, right?
Yeah.
Like, if they stripped the mini challenge away and they just said we're gonna only have one major challenge and then a runway, then they could use more of that footage from Untucked.
Yeah.
But then the show would have a little bit more of a docu feel to it. Otherwise it would have to be a longer show. If this was a cable show, it could be a full hour long, because it's a basic cable show. Basically meaning, like, if it was a show that didn't need commercials,
Like
then
an
they could do
HBO type show.
Yeah, then they could do an hour long show because it's not commercials, but because this show needs commercials. Part of its business model is selling ads. It's a 45-minute show so that the other 15 can be filled with ad buys.
Yeah.
If it was hour long, then they could just squeeze in another 15 minutes and give us all a bunch of the Untucked stuff.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's fine to me that those two are separated. I just wish that the Untucked was as easy to stream as Drag Race. That way, we could go and watch those episodes
Totally.
either together or on our own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of having
Totally.
to learn the context through the host.
I don't know why they aren't. That's the thing that's really weird to me. I'm trying to
I imagine the
understand
streaming
why they aren't.
platforms haven't bought the rights or haven't been able to for some reason.
Yeah, they were.
It's
able
just
to
strange that they
stream
wouldn't.
for a long while on Hulu. I remember I had Untucked. I remember I had Drag Race. I remember I had All Stars. All of anything related to the RuPaul's Drag Race world I had in my watch list. And the next thing I know, Untucked is gone. And the only way you can access it is by buying it. And I thought about it for a long while. I thought I should just buy the episodes as a consolation and sort of help others view it and in maybe not the most official way, but yeah, I decided to chuck the idea since we're practically through the series anyways.
But you would also have to check in with your mom because your mom buys those things for you.
Listen, let's not bring her into this now.
but
I'm trying to do something nice.
That was wrong.
Look at John
Reverse.
He's learning a lot from this show.
I don't know why they would take that down. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's the same company that owns the rights. Why wouldn't they have bundled those up together into one sale? If they did like kind of have them separate, like, oh, you get RuPaul's Drag Race and you get Untucked together for this amount of time, and then you lose Untucked, and then the streaming platform has the right to like, renew Untucked. It just doesn't seem like, it just seems like it would be, they would, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a science to all of this that I don't really understand, but it seems like you could probably give a streaming network a deal on Untucked, like that would be better than the number of downloads you get from people buying it.
Could it be like what was the network that it was originally on? Was it Logo?
Yes, Logo.
Yeah, I wonder if it's, and I don't know, but maybe they're wanting to start their own streaming company, and then that way they can lump it all together. Because I know Discovery did that.
That could be.
In the UK version of Drag Race, they have they don't have an Untucked. They incorporate like scenes from the After Runway show into the main show. I think it's on BBC 3 or something. So I think the BBC must have bullied them into it.
I was gonna ask that actually because I was scrolling through my guide, like my TV guide, a couple days ago, and I saw Logo airing RuPaul's Drag Race UK, but I had seen that they were longer episodes. And I remember when I would watch the regular RuPaul's Drag Race here in the US, it would just be an hour long. But I saw they were longer, and I just checked now, and they're like an hour and a half. And so I was gonna ask, what's included in there that makes it longer? But you answered the question, so
I read your mind.
thanks for that.
One day we'll be able to watch Untucked, and we'll do it again as some sort of a slate show. I am not going to publicly condone any sneaky ways of watching it.
I didn't say you would.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't stop it from happening, but I cannot condone it.
Yeah, it'd be definitely unofficial if that were to happen.
If that were to happen.
I do that. I don't do that for my events if I can at all. So, Regina, you need a way to let me.
They will. I'm convinced that all of that is going to get clamped down on anyway. I mean, all of those companies that you can use to stream stuff, like they're all the same companies. Well, I mean, like Google for one, like that put in the algorithm on YouTube that can detect pretty easily if something is owned by another rights holder. So I have to imagine that that's coming, that they're gonna eventually they'll be like, nope, we know that you're streaming this.
They're
This
just
belongs to
party
everybody.
poopers. Don't forget to harvest, by the way, guys.
Is that a friend?
Harvest.
You found a friend? Yeah. You find us lizards? Good stuff.
Is Hunter talking to
Hunter,
us?
Hunter, are you talking to us?
I think she's
Sorry,
talking to her dog.
sorry.
I think her dog found a lizard.
Yeah, he found a friend and he was playing with it. Sorry.
A real lizard?
Yeah, he finds like they make their way into the house and then he like picks them up and puts them down on the rug and just like looks at them.
Oh,
And
that's
like,
very
like,
sweet.
He's like, "Mommy, look, I have a friend."
Where do
Whenever
you
we get
live that
li-
you, I mean,
We
I
get
know
lizards in
California
our
has
house all the time.
I'm
I'm in-
jealous. I want lizards in my house.
I'm in Florida. We're lucky they're not alligators in the house.
Yeah, we are too.
I just get stink bugs and spiders.
Whenever we get lizards
get
in the
stink
house, our animals are very mean to them.
Really? Yeah, our cat, both our cat and our dog, just kind of like they play with them for a little bit and then they just lay there and watch them crawl around. I'm like, you could at least like take them outside.
Our dogs are super afraid of them, but our cats are very, very mean to them. And we try to rescue them. My husband once picked one up by the tail, and you know they can detach their tails as a defense mechanism. And so it did it in my husband's hand. He freaked out. The tail was like still twitching. He was like, it was the grossest thing ever.
You're talking about
It
lizards?
was really funny.
Yeah, lizard.
Oh man, I mean, if you were a kid growing up in Florida, Hunter, you grew up in Florida, right?
Oh yeah, born and raised.
Yeah, then you know about lizard tails coming off in your hand.
Absolutely.
that is part of being a Florida child.
that is like seriously cool. I would have loved that as a kid.
Not only that, is to also find a lizard that's little stumpy tail is starting to grow back. That's another weird one.
Yeah.
Oh, I've not found that yet. but-
Yeah, where you'll see a lizard, you're like, oh, that lizard lost its tail to a little kid at some point.
Yeah, we
But
do that
why-
in the house. Like we'll find like a stumpy lizard. I'm like, oh pup, were you playing with this one?
Yeah, we'll sometimes
But
just
why
find
do they
tails
why
laying
did
around.
why do they use it as a defense mechanism? I mean,
So they can,
So they can
if
escape
anything-
predators.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
predator
so
can
if
grab
anything
their tail.
traps them, they're gonna grab the tail.
Yeah, they'll grab the tail and they can just rip it off and then just run off, and then like pretty soon after they grow a completely new tail, and
Yeah.
it just starts to grow like starts as a little stump that comes out. And
It's pretty incredible, but
Yeah.
also very gross when it's still twitching after being detached from the animal.
does it hurt them?
No, I don't think so.
I
Never
don't think
asked
so. I
one.
would imagine that if it's a defense, like if it's an evolutionary defense mechanism, that probably it doesn't have any nerves, like that, like there are no nerves in that area, so it probably doesn't feel it.
Good. I'd feel bad if it hurt 'em.
It's definitely gross. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
And like I like where I grew up in North Florida in Jacksonville, like you like sometimes you be walking down the street, you just see like a lizard tail just there. Like so you get
Lizard
What
tail,
part of
or
Florida do you live in now?
I'm in Tampa now.
stink bugs, roly polies. I mean,
I
Bring 'em
find
on.
stink bugs very amusing to watch.
palmetto bugs.
Ugh,
Ugh,
no,
gross,
no,
I hate
no,
them.
no.
One night we were in Clubhouse and we were in the lounge and everybody was laughing at me because we had a palmetto bug that got in our house. And I was like freaking out and I was trying to describe what they were to people and they did not believe me. They're like, So it's like a giant roach that can fly. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what it
Yeah,
is.
it's just
It comes
yeah,
from palm
palmetto bug
trees.
is a roach. It is a roach. It's the same family. It's just it has
Yeah,
wings.
They're
yeah, they can
demons.
fly.
They're
We had cicadas this year here, and I basically didn't leave my house and for like 2
Oh,
months.
you're in the wrong part
Um,
of Ohio. 'Cause we didn't get them.
Yeah,
I
you didn't either.
I have a
no,
story.
yeah, we had them. I had to wear a beekeeper suit to leave my house.
I have a story about palmetto bugs that is just horrifying
Oh, don't.
from my
Oh,
childhood. I won't tell it to you tonight. But
Good,
one of
because
these,
wait
but one of
until
these
my
one of these days when the mood is right, you all can remind me, and I will tell. I'll tell the story, the horrifying story of the palmetto bug.
yeah, you gotta wait until my husband's home for stuff like that, because I am convinced anytime somebody talks about a creepy story about bugs, there's gonna be one in the house. It's gonna show up somewhere, and I need him to kill it.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. If bugs gross you out and whatnot, yeah, you'll have a hard time with this one.
Oh God.
But I'm gonna actually head out. Thank you so much, Megan, Maria. Maria's gone. It's I'm sure late over there. Over there.
She probably
Yeah,
heard
it's
the
close
bug
to full.
talk and she was like, I'm
My
out.
God. Oh my gosh, you guys are champions. All right, I'm heading out. Thank you so much. We're back
Bye.
tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for episode 2 of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Hoping you can join us for that. Then we return again on Monday for Firefly. Again Tuesday for Mrs. Maisel, and then we're back with RuPaul's Drag Race on Wednesday for a very interesting RuPaul's Drag Race Wednesday. We're going to be watching YouTube videos and discussing that particular episode. It'll be a little bit more like a gab session than your typical watch party.
Great, thank you, John.